Alright, guys, so it's February 21st, and I just want to hit on this healing is very important and critical. It is the only thing we should be focused on, the only thing we should be doing, um, because this, this illusion, this game, this enslavement runs a lot deeper than we think, so our healing shouldn't be focused on just healing our bodies and gaining more clarity and having a healed body where you can perform better at work, you can perform better in your daily activities, you can perform better at your at any sport you play. If you're in an adult league or you go and meet with a group of guys that have a ritual of meeting every once or twice a week to go play basketball at the rec center. This healing is not about this flesh. It's not as in prioritizing this flesh. This is a spiritual warfare. This is an attack on our essence and our. Watch out, Pika. This is an attack on our essence, our spirits, because we're not this body. We are magnetized to this body. We are entrapped in this body. And it's not so much that this body is a limitation in the sense of what we would be like if we were in our healed state, being this flesh being the most advanced biological thing on this earth, a very advanced piece of technology that's capable of a lot of things and actually doesn't need anything outside of itself when it's in its healed state. But it's able to be programmed, it's able to be manipulated, it's able to be brainwashed, it's able to undergo survival mechanism to where it copes with toxicity, it copes with the enslavement. We find the comfort in any toxic environment it is. No matter the degree of toxicity, this body is able to undergo a survival mechanism to where it can cope with that toxicity, and it'll undergo that Stockholm syndrome of seeing the benefits, seeing the bright side of the environment it's in. So that's where this flesh becomes a limitation to our essence, and 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 that's what's been happening. Instead of us being free, instead of us having liberty and being able to move about freely and just simply be a human being who doesn't plan in the future and doesn't dwell in the past, but is present in every moment and is content. It is fulfilled. It is complete. It is whole. It is autonomous. It is sovereign in every single moment, and there's no fear, lack, worry, desire. It is thriving in every second, every moment. And we can't even fathom what that's like. That's so far from what we've been going the opposite direction than that way. Like, when we're born, all we need is a safe space for our essence to develop and blossom, and to flourish and to blossom. But as soon as we're born, instead of going on that development side, we've been going on that devolving side of being abused and traumatized and thrown into survival, and like I said, undergoing that survival mechanism and making the best of our shitty situation, and eventually loving it, eventually becoming trauma bonded to it, and then not even seeing anything wrong with it after years and years of this perpetual abuse and indoctrination and traumatizing and enslavement. And so, and that's where, so this healing, you cannot just be focused on the 3D. You cannot be focused on, oh, well, once my body feels better, everything will just be fine and dandy. Life will be great once I get this running. I don't have any aches in my joints. I don't have any aches and pains in my body. I got a clearer mind. I can think deeper. I can be a little more humane. I'm a little more tapped into my authenticity. But that's not what it is. We're not trying to make this life here just sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns, and fucking living in paradise, creating heaven on earth, right? This runs much deeper. We are part this biology was created by a master architect that wanted spirits to be enslaved. So like my idea of it, just real quick, is because of how pure we were, how pure we are in our natural state. Who knows what we're doing in the astrals or wherever we go after we're dead on this planet. But whatever we are, whatever our whole essence is, before this creation of this matrix, of this hell realm, of this prison planet, it's like something new, how it could dupe us into coming here. Oh, look at the scenery, look at the mountains and the lakes and the rivers. Oh, look at the animals and the sunrise and the stars at night, and look at all these things, and just imagine what you can do there. And look, you'll even be when you go on this earth, you will be in these flesh bodies. And so there comes the half truth right here, is these bodies are autonomous. They don't need anything. You can grow so big, you can do all kind, you can play in this avatar and get to experience this realm and see. But it doesn't tell us the intentions of that place. It doesn't tell us how this flesh, the mind of this flesh, because the mind is part of the flesh too. This brain is part of the flesh. So you're not the mind, you're the essence. You're the essence which is thrown into this body. And so that's what we're tapping into. We're not trying to become critical thinkers, though we have to critical think our way out of this. But don't attach yourself to that label of I'm a critical thinker, I'm a debater. That's not it, because the essence doesn't critical think. It just bees, and it knows how to express itself fully. So that's what we're trying to get back to, is back to our humanity, back to our authenticity. We're not trying to when we're in that state, we're not proving. We already know. We know that you can't get through in other people. All you can do is heal yourself, is be yourself. But be yourself, not the characters you've created, but who you truly are at the essence. And who you are truly at the essence doesn't stand down to injustice, doesn't stand down to abuse. It speaks. It stands up for itself, because it knows, that essence innately knows right from wrong when it comes down to humanity. Not right from wrong with our book of 70,000, 100,000 laws just in this country. No, it doesn't know those things, but it knows how a human is supposed to operate, how a human is supposed to behave and act. And so yeah, so what I'm saying, these biologies, this flesh was intricately made, was specifically made, a devised plan, because it knew, however it started, whatever. But as people come, as spirits come, and they get into these bodies, it's like, yeah, you do have free will, but for the first 18 years, we're gonna indoctrinate you. We're gonna brainwash you, make you so brain dead to where you can't even see the obvious right in front of your face. You wouldn't even be able to accept the simple truth, because it is so far away from the programs we're going to be instilling into you. and that's what happens. So for 18 years, and then you finally go on your own, and now it's up to you. Well, do you want to continue playing? Do you want to continue participating, or do you want to start detaching and healing and be your free human? And right there, you just went through 18 years of watching everybody else live this way and being forced to live this way, forced to comply, forced to be obedient, forced to love this place, forced to see it as a gift, forced and propagandized these addictions, these desires, these wants, and all our wants and desires and addictions have to do with this world, have to do with material possessions, have to do with consuming, have everything to do from things outside of us. We are so far away from our knowing of what we even are, so to know how badly abused and traumatized we have been since we were born, there's a purpose in that. It's not just, people want money, businesses want money, the government wants power, and this or that. It's so much deeper than that. All the government officials, all the elites of this that we see are just puppets. They're just brain dead zombies who are either intentionally put there, or they're just so brain dead, and they strive to fit that position in feeding their ego, everything to do with this world. And so they became a cog in the system. They became an Agent Smith, and so that's how they got there. But all they're doing is propagandizing and feeding into your enslavement by continually reinforcing your programs, reinforcing your limiting conditioned beliefs, reinforcing all the programs that keep you enslaved, and reinforcing your desires, reinforcing your addictions, reinforcing your bad habits, self-destructive, health-diminishing, soul-stripping habits, and that's what they're doing. They're constantly putting you in fear, lack, worry, desire, confusion. They're constantly steering you in all kinds of directions. They're constantly giving you news about bullshit. They're constantly putting things in front of your face that you have no control over, like things happening across the country, things happening down south, up north, everywhere except for right here in the present moment, in the here and now, where you're at and what you can be in control of here. Always propagandizing foods, always propagandizing new material possessions, the new thing that's coming out this year, the thing that just came out last week, all of these things. Fear with, look at this illness coming, look at that, blah, 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 taxes going up, shootings, mass shootings, this and that. I mean, it's fucking nuts. So they're just puppets. What they get out of it is their ego boosts. What they get out of it is they get looked up upon by the peasants, by the people they see as littler than them because they're up on the high chair. These people who are in government positions and these higher positions, they're all ego driven and narcissistic and power hungry, authority hungry. They love being looked up to. They love being they love the attention. They love being worshipped. They love being looked at as the guy that has the answers. So what I'm saying is, because how I view this realm is a hell realm. It is intentionally made to harvest our essence, which our essence is powerful beyond belief. And because once we're born, and we see that we just have to survive to get through this shit, so we think we can just play along to go along to get along until we can finally start making our own decisions. But we make that decision before we're like even 1 year old. We make that decision at some point in the first 3 years of our life that we have to no longer be authentic and start playing the game in order to survive, in order to stop being beaten and scorned and ridiculed and bashed on and neglected. And so we undergo these survival programs, survival mechanisms, but after so long, after day by day, moment by moment, continual repetition, we hand over our authority. We hand over everything that makes us sovereign, and so by the time we're 18 years old, now we learn through those 18 years, we learn to consent, to willfully consent and hand over our authority, hand over our freedom, hand over our liberty, hand over our power, hand over, and in order to keep playing the game. So what I'm trying to get to is this is a spiritual warfare. This healing is not about healing your vessel. It's not, it is, but that's more so a benefit. The priorities in this healing is finally asserting your will, finally making humane decisions, finally making decisions which is a service to your essence, to your spirit, to your authenticity, to your real self. It's that's what this healing is about. It's about gaining that discipline. It's about having a mind for yourself. It's about choosing what is right. It's about choosing what is humane. We are practicing putting our will in the forefront. We are practicing what it is to be human again, what it is to be authentic, what it's like to be walking in truth, fact, and reality. Because this system wants you doing everything but that. Because when you start doing that, you start getting rid of all the damage, all the blockages, all the restrictions. You start breaking those apart and getting rid of them. And what happens when that happens, your power starts to build. You start to remember who you are. You start to remember what you're capable of. You start to see that all these things you were taught were necessities is all constructs. And so when you start seeing that brings you more power. You're like, oh, well, if I just let go of that one thing and I already see how much freer I feel, how much stronger I feel, how much healthier I feel, what's going to happen if I continue detaching? And see, so that's the thing. They throw out all the information. They don't give a fuck about what you know. They don't give a fuck about what you know. What they give a fuck is about what you do. Because what you do is what's going to create change. You can know anything. That's why I call them rabbit holes. That's why me and my dad hit on do not fall into the pursuit of seeking knowledge, because it is endless and it's superfluous. The only things you need to know is, and all you got to do to know it, is become present. Is to question everything you do, your highs and your lows, when you feel good and when you don't feel good, even when you feel like you're keeping afloat, and becoming aware of your actions, questioning your actions, questioning your reactions, questioning your instincts, questioning your urges and your desires, questioning your wants, questioning your behavioral addictions of chasing a status, of being ego driven, of always looking for validation outside of yourself, of always trying to prove yourself, of always questioning when you don't feel fulfilled, when you feel lack, when you feel a void, and you have that urge to go and do something or grab something or ingest something because you need to fill that void and that lack. Questioning that's all you need to start your healing, and that's all you need for your healing, because the only free will we have is what we put in our bodies and on our bodies and in our minds, through our eyes, through our ears, through our mouth, through our nose. Um, we have that free will, and that's all the free will you need to no longer participate, because you don't have to watch movies, you don't have to work, you don't have to eat, you don't have to do these things. Now, yes, you got to wean off of it, of course. Start making better decisions on what you eat. Start making those small changes. Stop eating animals. That'll reclaim some of your humanity. That'll reclaim some of your empathy. That'll make you feel more human when you no longer eat animal flesh and animal products. But then you gotta go even more than that. Stop eating for taste. Stop eating for pleasure. Stop eating for comfort. Eat for cleansing. Only view eating as for hydration and cleansing and detoxing. That's all you should be viewing your food as. And what does that? Fruits and veggies, whether raw or juiced. Either one. But just start, like, that's a diet anybody can go straight into, because immediately it is good for you. Is going raw. Maybe not juicing, because that's a huge difference from a huge jump from what most people are eating now. The American Standard Diet, or just eating whatever the fuck you want. But a go-to transition that you can start no matter where you're at on your cooked food, of your consumption of cooked food and processed food and artificial food, is going straight into raw foods. Because eating healthier cooked dinners, starting to no longer eat out and just cook at home, that's not a difference. You're switching from one addiction to the other. What's going to actually start healing and making change is no longer eating cooked food, no longer eating processed food, no longer eating artificial food, and jumping straight into raw food, because that food is living. That food actually has nutrients. That food actually aids you in the process of cleansing and detoxing. Going home and eating and cooking raw vegan dishes and doing things like that, that's not doing shit. That is building up discipline. You are starting to assert your will in some way, but it's very little. But it can be a jump start. But don't be a vegan who cooks their food for the next 2 years and be happy that you made that change. No, let that just be a 2-month process. Let that just be a few-month process. And then, but know that whole time, okay, I'm using this as a crutch right now, but my next goal is raw food. But yeah, it's so what I'm seeing, this healing, like I said, it's about asserting our will. It's about making more humane decisions, and it's about and detaching. Like, I see the detaching is what is healing, because you can do those things, right? You can start asserting your will. You can start building your discipline. But are you actively trying to pull away from participating in the system? Are you getting rid of things in your home? Are you spending less money? Are you starting to detach from finding excitement and going to the movie theaters and going to the roller rink and going to everything of this world, going on vacation to fucking going to the MGM casino? Like, that's what my mom and that Hispanic side of my family always loves to do. They love going to the casino. We'd go to the casino all the time. We'd go to the city all the time and just walk around and look at all the lights and all this shit. And it's like, what the fuck is this? And it requires money. It requires you to work more. It requires you, to consent into playing into consent and willfully handing over your humanity and your authenticity and your power in order to enjoy the breads and circuses and the distractions and stimulations of this matrix, and those things are so dehumanizing. They're so limiting. They're when we're healed, those aren't things those pleasures those things we call pleasures here, we'd be like, what the fuck, dude, that's so gross, that's so stupid, why would you even want to go and experience that bullshit? Like, it's so low vibrational, because we'll be so high vibrational, we'll be so tapped into the knowing and living in our creativity, living in our essence, which is when you're connected with that and you have that in alignment, you're fulfilled. There's no desire, there's no lack, there's no worry, there's no confusion. Yeah. And so that's what I'm saying. This healing journey, fuck what your physique looks like, fuck trying to feel better so that you can perform better in front of people and impress people and impress your boss and work harder at your job, spend more hours at your job, acquire more things, build on your homestead and acquire more possessions to, fuck all that shit. This is a spiritual warfare. This healing is getting us ready for death, for the biggest, because when death comes, you're straight out of this flesh, in which, if you've never tried connecting, if you've never built a relationship with your essence, if you've never while you were here constantly behaving and acting from your essence, at being what it means to be human, being what it means to be authentic, tapped into your real self, to where you create that relationship and that knowing and that comfortability now with that essence, because once you die, you're zapped right back into that essence. We are that essence already. It's just it's like there's another entity inside of us, which is the ego, and then all the alters of that entity with all its different characters, and so we're battling all those things. Like, when you get that oomph of empathy in a certain moment, like I said, it's through our brain dead years, we will have like a 5 seconds, not even 5 seconds, like a split second reaction to something, but it's seen as normal here. It's seen as it's a way of seeming tough and everything like that. We'll have or that split second of an empathetic reaction to it, of a humane reaction to it, but then we're like, no, I gotta seem tough. No, this is gonna keep me from getting hurt. This is gonna keep me from getting bullied. If I just act tough and I just laugh at this kid getting bullied, although I feel this empathy to stand up for him, and it feels wrong, but no. These are the cool guys in school, and I gotta be cool too, so I can survive, and so I don't get beat up, in that survival mode. I mean, dude, that survival mechanism plays in so much in our lives. We don't even realize the abuse we're perpetuating, all these things, man. And so that is what this healing is getting us ready for. It is what it's doing, is practicing what it's like to be living in our essence, to be fully operating out of our essence. Because once we die and we're zapped right back to our essence, for the majority of people in this fucking world, it's going to be very uncomfortable. It's going to be very unfamiliar. And what have they done their whole lives? Every time it's uncomfortable and familiar, reaching right back for the things that make them comfortable. Which, what does that mean? You're no longer having to be duped back into this. You're no longer forced into being reincarnated back here by the duper propagandizing and talking up this world, right? You're like, please, I need to go back. I want to go back. Please. Like, you're just gonna be so, you have to come back because you're so uncomfortable and unfamiliar, and you've never sat in that and So yeah, you're always used to pleasure seeking. You're always used to doing what's familiar, and like I've said before, um, we can become addicted, and we can become emotionally attached and trauma bonded to our abusers, to our abusive relationships, to our toxic environments, because it's just like a girl who can't get out of dating a physically abusive boyfriends. It's just like kids who can't leave their abuser, you know, who are emotionally attached and to their abuser. There's so many examples of how we adapt, and then how we become emotionally attached and trauma bonded to our toxic environments and such. Um, so yeah, you really got to question everything. You really have to realize that we are being used, we are being molested, we are being treated like pure dog shit in order, and we are fed a narrative, we are fed an illusion, we are fed a facade of how beautiful this place is. We've been given a brochure to see the good in this world, when there is good in this world, that much, but the evil and the bad is. So we can't ignore all this and just focus on this little shit. No, man, you got to realize we have been. This is intentional. These are ill intentions that are intentional for us to give up our power, for us to become so addicted and have such Stockholm syndrome that we defend our enslavement, that we love this place, that we will worship this place. We will worship it, we'll idolize it, we'll give it all of our focus and attention, we'll feed as much energy into it as it needs. I mean, it is yeah. So really I'm just trying to, because it goes so deep with a channel on Odyssey, which is another a media platform, is it's called Odyssey, Odysssey, and a channel called Synergy, Psinergy, Synergy, Psiner Synergy, yeah, yeah, and her Look Out for Charlie, Look Out FA Charlie, both on Odyssey and YouTube, and then there's other guys as well that show. It's all government documented, because they have to document everything. They have to give the truth, but they don't have to propagandize the truth. They don't have to say the truth in plain simple words. They can obfuscate it. They put it out there, but then they put 20 other things out there for you to get caught up in, and then this thing just kind of slides on by. It's like that. And so yeah, all this stuff is documented. All the it's pretty wild. But they talk on how these these fleshes are, it's artificial intelligence. This is artificial intelligence, because the pure intelligence is our essence. So this is all artificial. This was created. We think of artificial intelligence as metallic robots, but it's not. That's another form. That's another type of artificial intelligence. That's another construction of it. That's a variety of artificial intelligence, but this is artificial fucking intelligence, and it is connected to the grid here. It is connected to this hell realm. It is connected to, think of it like this, like, because no matter where you go in this world, it is on this grid. It is because how my dad's been talking about, and I've even talked a little bit on, is there's the frequencies of this world, the signals of this world. It's set by the master architect. It's set by the enslavers. And so, see, where I'm getting caught up at is the thought of like someone questioning, so then no matter what healing we do, we'll forever be connected. During our live years, we'll be connected to this place. We'll be pinging off of their radar. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know about that. I think once we start building on our biofield, and once we heal this, once we rejuvenate all this, and then our essence starts to expand outwards, and our biofield starts to expand outwards, we might come off of their pinging system. Because see, that's the thing. Every one of us, because we're on a spectrum of the frequencies which we can range in, which we're supposed to range in the middle of that frequency spectrum, they can detect whether we're starting to think for ourselves. They can detect when we're starting, all these things, and direct weapons on us, with thoughts, with voices in our ears that we can't even hear, but it reinforces our programming, and so many things. I talk about this, like, I think I wrote about this like a while ago. Maybe I made a video on it, maybe not. I think it was before I started making videos. But every time before I really got deep in this healing, every time I had thought and I wanted to start writing, as soon as I go to start writing, boom, I get hit. I would have felt totally fine, right? Had a thought, been like, ooh, I'm gonna start writing. And then I go to write, and then boom, like brain dead. Like immediately I just wanted to go to sleep. Like I wasn't even tired before I had that thought. But as soon as I thought about writing it down on paper and start critical thinking, I'd be slammed. Like I'd feel tired, I feel groggy, just out of nowhere. And yeah, that was pretty wild stuff. So yeah, that's just how I see it. Is because of how low vibrational we are and how attached and addicted and dependent on these systems we are on their radar. But yeah, that's just what it is. Who cares if you will never be free, in the sense of free from their signals, or free from being detected on this realm? Who cares? Because all we're getting ready for is death. That's it. You stop looking for the excitement in life. Stop finding things that are joyful. Like, that's what I'm starting to realize. Like, you got to watch out what you find as entertaining when you watch movies, when you watch entertainment, when you're searching for entertainment. Like, we really have to find all our joy, all our entertainment by ourselves, just feeling it when we start unlocking this power and this critical thinking and the creativity and the imagination, finding joy, finding that everything there is to experience in this world is just right here. And through, like, me and my dad, through our interaction, which is human interaction, which is all based, the foundation of our interaction is truth, facts, and reality. It's authentic. It's humane intentions. It's pure intentions. And so that's the only thing we should find joy in. We shouldn't be feeling lack or FOMO, fear of missing out, because we're no longer going to the mall. We're no longer going out on the weekends. We're no longer taking vacations to the beach. That's all. If that's the other thing that ties in with the nature. I have to get in the woods. Oh, I can't wait for my one vacation, family vacation every year, where we go to the beach, because I just love the beach. At the beach gives me peace. The beach gives me that feeling of freedom. The beach gives me that sanity. The beach, no, you give that self to yourself, and that's through healing. That's through detaching. And that's what I've realized is, like, I'm not even hungry to go and live on an island. I'm not even hungry to go and to view, because when I first graduated high school, all I wanted to do was travel. All I wanted to see everything in this world. I just wanted to travel. I wanted to work, just be able to work on a computer and create content for myself, create a following, and be able to go and do teachings with all kinds of different things, and just be able to travel across the whole world and see everything, because I'm a huge nature guy. Like, I've always loved waterfalls. I always enjoyed doing cliff jumping, and like there's just so many things I wanted to get into. I was a huge hiker, where I would just hike all the time. Just love being outdoors, and and but I would see that as my escape, and that's the issue. Is we gotta create the peace, we gotta create the sanity, we gotta create the ease in our lives by our choices, and by just taking control. At first it's gonna feel hard, but you just gotta get through that initial beginning to really start witnessing. Oh wow! I mean, it's different for everybody. Sometimes they can start once they start making once they start taking willful action, they can experience things immediately. But sometimes it can just feel like so deadening and such, and it may take a process. But the thing is knowing, because if you're not healing, if you're not focused on your healing, if you're not focused on detaching, you are perpetuating enslavement, because everything we do in these societies that is viewed as normal is perpetuating and propagating in slavery. It's perpetuating and propagating human trafficking. It's actually paying in. It's supporting the elites who do this inhumane acts, and these perverted acts. You're even though you think you're paying to just the grocery store, it all stems from that initial intention. And so feeding into that is feeding into who created this whole thing, who created this illusion of all these things. And so when you're giving all your time and attention, energy, and money into to these businesses and such, it all stems from that inhumane intention, that ill intention. And so right there, you're perpetuating the enslavement. You're perpetuating child labor and child trafficking and human sex trafficking, and all these things. And it's realizing that. It's like just knowing every time you go to do a normal habit, anytime you want to put your healing to the side and just be like, look, I'm gonna treat myself, I'm gonna reward myself. But really, you guys see, well, do my it's really asking yourself, are my taste buds, does that mean more than does satisfying my taste buds, or satisfying my pleasure seeking addictions, does the satisfaction of those things matter more than not participating in the things which keep kids and keeps people who are bred into slavery, like and it's crazy, because people will be like, well, I'm just one person, it's not like it's gonna make that much of a change, like I'm just buying it one time. I've been juicing for 2 months now, and I just want to buy a burger from McDonald's. I mean, it's just one time, it's just $4. It's not like but yeah, but look, everybody's saying that. Billions of people are saying that, and look what it's doing. It's creating a demand. It all starts by you making those decisions to abstain from those things, and through that, you become an example. You become you inspire courage in others to do the same. And so yeah, you may just do it one time in 2 months, but it's still, just think of it like this. The guy who you might as well just meet up with the guy who runs all these businesses, who started all these franchises, the authority hungry, the child sex trafficking guy. You might as well just go straight to him and give him your money, because that's what you're doing. You're just going through a bunch of middlemen who are just puppets and cogs in the system, who are supporting the demands of the people. So you may not be giving it straight to the human trafficker, but that's where it's going. So it's realizing those things, and it's making the humane decision. And I'm telling you, when you make those humane decisions, it is going to empower you. It's going to empower the essence part of you. It's going to be, which is you. What it's doing by making those decisions, by staying determined and staying committed. You are slowly but surely deprogramming and crushing that old man, that old characters, those altars. You are taking it away one by one by one. You are no longer making the neural network stronger because you're feeding it less. So it's going to start deprogramming itself. It's going to stop continuing to reinforce itself and hardwire even more, because every time you feed into a habit, it makes it even stronger. Every time you go out there and do that habit, it because it's electric signals. Your brain is learning. Your brain is learning how to function and how to perceive reality. So it's, if you constantly say, this thing brings me satisfaction, this thing brings me ease, sanity, peace, comfort, then whenever you start feeling uncomfortable, whenever you start doing this healing, you're immediately going to want to run to that thing, because you've been programmed, and then you've even reinforced that program by willfully doing it, to where you're going to want to run right to that thing as soon as you start feeling uncomfortable. So yeah, man, this healing is fucking important. You are enslaved. You are majorly enslaved. You are majorly brainwashed. You are limited beyond belief. You are so confined in your prison cell, in your mind, that you can't even imagine how badly abused and how badly mistreated and how deep of a lie you're in. You can't realize it. And the only way you're going to start seeing deeper and deeper and deeper into it is by healing more and more and more. And as you heal more and more, you'll become more humane. You become more empathetic. So these things will start affecting you. Not affecting you like hurting you and such, but like you will feel this empathy. You will feel saddened by, like, man, why is it this bad? And people are scared of that because they don't want to feel that way, but it's like, but those things give you power. That reinforces what the fuck is important and what needs to be done right here, right now. Because if you just keep seeing it at sub-level, surface level of, yeah, all the Chinese people, those Chinese factory workers, there's really nothing I can do, and I know it's really bad. I wish I could do something about it. And we think of doing something so grand, like we're going to start a riot or start a protest. Doing a protest out in the street is going to fucking do anything. It's not. What's going to do something is when you stop giving the demands to needing these things, when you take your participation out of the system. That is what's going to create change, because it's not only going to be you're going to be setting the example. You're going to be showing people what it's like to live life as a human, and live authentically, and live independently, and live in your sovereignty, and not having lack, desire, confusion, and having this knowing and just glowing in your essence because you're so clean, you're so pure, you know, that's going to inspire courage, and more and more and more people are going to do that, and that is the only way. And so what does that do? That takes a lot of participants out of participating in the enslavement, and the more participants who are perpetuating and propagating the enslavement, once they stop participating, that's another person gone, that's another person gone, that's another person gone, you know. And that's the only. And how do these systems continue? How are these systems um, how are these systems still up and running and thriving? Because of our participation, because of our ignorance, because of our lack of personal responsibility, because of our addictions, because of our programming. And so because of our participation, handing over our attention, worshiping and idolizing. And worshiping and idolizing, you, like I said before, it doesn't mean getting on your hands and knees and saying, "Oh, I pray, thank the government for my job." You might be saying, "I hate my fucking job" every day you go. But are you doing anything to get out of that? Are you doing anything to heal yourself to where you no longer need food, to where you no longer need a house, to where you no longer need heat or cold, to where you no longer, you know what I'm saying? So are you doing anything to get yourself out of that? Because if you're not, you are worshiping, you are idolizing, because you're spending at least 40 hours of your week plus more with the whole getting ready, this, that, and the other, and structuring your whole life around your work week. That is idolizing, that is worshiping, because you're seeing that as a necessity, you're prioritizing that. And so at a subtle level, you think, the more you say, yeah, fuck the government, fuck working, fuck all this, but you still do everything for it, I mean, it's hypocritical, you know. So yeah, guys, I really hope I got at least my message through, and people can definitely feel it on a level that I'm feeling this, you know, and see the truth in what I'm saying, and understanding deeply what I'm trying to portray, because I may not be saying it in a way that's really targeting people, but it's definitely, we just need to realize you're either it's like this quote I wrote: this world is a complete joke, but the decisions we make are critical, as each choice either aligns us with our enslavement or our essence or our authenticity, you know. So it's one way or the other. You're either feeding into the ego, you're either feeding into the enslavement, you're either feeding into the programs, you're either feeding into, to the ego and such, or you're feeding into your essence, or you're feeding into becoming humane again, reclaiming your humanity, reclaiming your birthright, reclaiming your authenticity, reclaiming what it means to be human. You know, that's what I'm saying. The choices are either aligning you towards one or the other. And even though this world is a complete script, it's a complete game, it's an illusion, it matters what you do. Because if you're constantly acting in disservice to your essence, because regardless, everyone dies, so we are zapped right back into our essence. And when we have been going against our essence and scared to even face the reality of who we are, and scared to heal, and scared to detach, and which if we're scared of those things, that means we're highly addicted and attached to this 3D realm and the materials and the relationships of this place. So when we die, all we know is this path. All we know is our ego, our enslavement. All we know is our addictions. And when we're zapped and all we see is something we've never and we finally become uncomfortable and unfamiliar, we're going to be running straight back to what we are going to be begging to come back. And so yeah, it's I just want to get that through y'all's fucking mind, because This is a spiritual warfare. Fuck what your body looks like. Fuck how you perform. Who are you at your who are you? You know, what do the words that come out of your mouth, what do they tell about yourself? You know, what do they tell about how you think? What do they tell about your actions and your behaviors? Because that I've gotten to the point now in my healing to where I can just hear someone talk and I know everything I need to know. I can tell how far along they are on their healing journey, if they're even on their healing journey. I can tell how wrapped up in the game they are. I mean, they don't even have to be we don't even have to be talking about the subjects. Just hearing the things that come out of their mouth and how they perceive it is enough for me to know where they're at in their journey of life. And that's what I'm saying. So yeah, this is a spiritual fucking warfare. Who cares if you can never reach that heaven on earth? The only heaven you're going to create is what you create for yourself, is by reclaiming your humanity, reclaiming your authenticity, reclaiming your birthright, and acting from your essence and from your humanity. And hopefully get to the point in your healing where you have your body, mind, and soul in alignment, and so you're no longer having to act out of your essence, but now you can actually be your essence because you've been practicing for so long that now that's just who you are. You know, but yeah, so there was something else I wanted to hit on. Fuck. But yeah, that's all that fucking matters right now is healing and detaching. And yeah, it's a spiritual warfare for sure. Yeah, it doesn't care if you consume. That's the other thing. You can be a breatharian here. You can beat the addiction to food. You can beat the reliance and the dependency on food, but you can still be all about this world. I studied so many, like a handful, probably like more than 2 handfuls of breatharians who are breatharians that are still living here, but they're all about this world. They're all about connecting with the earth and getting their energy and stuff from the earth and from the cosmos and all these things. And it's like, no, how you get your abundance of energy is tapping back into your essence, because remember, your essence is whole, your essence is complete. So when you're tapped into your essence, there is no need to harness any energy, because the energy is coming from you. You are the energy, you are the power, and it's unlimited, and it's full of unlimited potential and everything. And it's sustenance, it's regulated. I mean, it's complete. When you're whole and complete, there's no need, there's no lack, there's no desire, there's no void, there's no confusion, as you know. And that's what I'm saying is these breatharians, they're all about this world. They're all about doing the modalities and worshiping these modalities, and who knows what those modalities are connected to, as in with other entities and all that, and connecting to this realm and such, and getting in nature and doing water qigong. And I mean, it's absurd. Like, you really gotta realize it's only you. It's only fucking you. That is it. That is it. That is all you need. That is all you need to reclaim, is who you really are, is your essence. And see, people don't want to hear that, because that means their life is, they are personally responsible for everything they do. For where they're at in their life right now is because of them. Now, granted, of course, you were born into these systems and you were indoctrinated for 18 years, but after those 18 years, you should have had some time to start critical thinking. You should have had some time to start opening your eyes and realizing shit's fucked up. You should have, so it's up to you now. And where you're at, you can't play the victim mentality. You can realize that you were a victim, but you're more, like my dad says, we're survivors. And survivors, will do what it takes to survive. And what we got to do to survive, as in, and not as in survive in these fleshes, but survive by living out our humanity and living out our authenticity, is by healing and detaching. Yeah, so that's my message. It is urgent. This needs to happen right fucking now. People need to start detaching. People need to start they need to understand the terms abuse, slavery. They need to understand how powerful they are, and that they are enslaved, and they need to know what authority is, that they have their own authority, that they are actually independent, that they are actually whole and complete when deprogrammed and deconstructed and deconditioned. You need to realize these things and come and then start recognizing, accepting the reality in which you're in and your own personal reality with yourself. You need to come to that recognition and acceptance for what things are exactly for what they are. And from there, you start aligning your thoughts, words, and actions. Because once you start seeing it, well, what are you going to do? You're just going to talk about it but not do anything about it? Which doing something about it isn't starting protests, isn't starting Facebook groups. It isn't it's none of those things. It's by taking full accountability for what you're doing and who you are. It's taking on that full fucking responsibility for yourself, because that is the only way you can open other people's mind, because you can't get to this level of articulation and this deep of introspection until you start healing, because you have so many blockages, you have so much damage, you have things that need to be hit on first before you can even get down here and start focusing on these things. So you got layers, and you that's why you can't even try to fathom the end result. You can't try to fathom what it's going to be like or anything. You just got to continue healing. You got to, and that's what's great about this healing. You don't have to go and do anything. All you have to do is, you don't have to go and buy anything, nothing. You don't have to, nothing. You just need to start becoming aware and highly observant and become honest and start having the courage and the discipline to becoming fully committed and fully determined on your healing and detaching. That's it. And each present moment will bring the new lesson, because in every moment you're feeling either high or low or just in the middle. You're feeling lack, you're feeling good, it's questioning all of that, the goods and the bads, the uplifted moods and the low feeling moods, questioning everything and seeing where it's coming from. Well, what's making me feel so good? What brought me this happiness today? What brought, what motivated me to have a smile on my face all day? And realizing, because it could have came from something material. It could have came from a girl complimenting you, and it's like, well, why does that, I don't need a girl to acknowledge my looks in order for me to feel worthy and feel in order to feel worthy and such, so yeah, guys, spiritual warfare. The only thing that matters is when death comes, we are ready for it. And we are so tapped into the knowing of who we really are that when we're full blasted back into who we are comfortable. We recognize. It actually, when we're out of this body, it actually feels like a weight has lifted. Like the freedom we've been searching for is finally here. And then whatever happens at death, whether we're asked, do you want to come back, this or that, we're like, fuck no, and that's the thing. People are like, oh, well, I feel like I came on earth to save people and to do this. It's like, no, you fucking didn't. Because I don't think anybody, any soul who has figured this shit out and then got to death was like, I'm not going back there. Because you can see, as you're on this healing journey, you will see for yourself, because you will start talking. You will try to convince your family and all this. You'll be telling everybody you know. You'll be making videos even, but hopefully not for the purpose to help others, but just to help yourself. That is the whole reason why I make videos, is to help me in articulating and getting a deeper understanding into catching my thoughts and stuff, and being able to let go of some thoughts, so that when I rewatch this video I can dig deeper on thoughts I kind of skimmed over, all that. These videos are for me. The benefit of these videos is that it helps others, is that it inspires others, but I'm not doing it for intentionally and solely for that. I'm doing it for myself, and reinforcing in myself what I know. So yeah, but yeah, any soul that has went through this feat and recognizes, you will see, like I said, there is no healing anybody, there is no helping anybody. All there is being an example, and not not getting mad if you don't convert someone into and convince someone into healing. Not getting mad over that, being like, oh no, I know what I know, and those people are still, it's not about getting mad that people won't accept the truth and this or that. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. And that is not your purpose, is to convince the entire humanity here to wake up. Your only purpose here is to be human. First is to heal and detach. And through that, becoming human, becoming authentic, becoming real, living in truth, fact, and reality. Being honest 24/7. That is your only purpose here, is to be you. You at your essence, not the characters, not the alters, not all the things that were created when you were undergoing the survival mechanism. None of that. With that, it's all about deprogramming those, destructing those, and getting them out of this vessel, so that way your soul can be fully re-embodied and you can be in alignment, body, mind, and soul. Yep. All right, that's that.